All right, so obviously Val Kilmer died a few days ago, unfortunately. Um, he's always been an actor that I've always liked a lot. Always found almost every performance interesting, at least. Even if the movie isn't that good. Minus maybe a few, but just he's got charisma. He's got definitely when he walks into a scene, it adds something to the movie. And just so many great performances. I mean, his first was Top Secret. I actually have never seen that. And then Real Genius, Top Gun as Iceman, obviously, Willow as Mad Mardigan. Great movie. I remember as a kid, great swordsman. Really good fantasy movie, actually. Which apparently George Lucas kind of directed a good amount of that movie. That's the rumor, anyways. I know it's Ron Howard, right? Yeah, but George Lucas wrote it with Bob Dolman. So, I want to watch this. He's in a Billy the Kid TV movie. That sounds kind of interesting. As William Bonney. Then he did The Doors. Great performance as Jim Morrison. I'm a pretty big Oliver Stone fan. I think he definitely had some great hits. True Romance. He plays Elvis. It's called The Mentor. And then Tombstone. Best on-screen Doc Holliday ever. Just such a great performance. Like, obviously I have the image up there. When the guy walks up to him and he's like because Kurt Russell says he's retired, and then he's like, "Are you retired?" And he's like sweating. He looks very sickly, and he's like, "No, I'm in my prime." It's just such a good scene. And then later when he that's Sean Bean, right? From Aliens. Just such a great cast. Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, R.I.P. there too. Powers Booth, R.I.P. I mean Michael Biehn, yeah. As Johnny Ringo. Great scene later in that movie too, where he becomes a deputy, and then he's like, basically he wants to kill the guy, and then the guy just says, because he was kind of egging him on, and then he's like, "Oh, I was just joking, Bean." And then Val Kilmer's like, "I wasn't." Because he really wants to kill the guy, and he does. Batman Forever, not a great movie, but he's good in it. He's a good Bruce Wayne. He's a good Batman. I think most people agree. Even people who hate that movie go, "Well, he's good in it." And apparently there's a bunch of footage from that movie that was cut out, and there's some deleted scenes, but the director's dead also. Yeah, but it would have been nice to get a director's cut maybe, but it's DC, so they control it a lot. But Snyder got some director's cuts, but we'll never see that. But there are some deleted scenes that are kind of interesting if you haven't seen them. They dive more into the psychology of Bruce Wayne. So, and then of course George Clooney's in the sequel, and yeah. Heat. Great performance, a great character. He really brought a lot to that character, I think. I mean, the writing's there, but I think he really elevates the material. Because really, that movie's about Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Like, that's what that movie's about. So, then he did The Island of Dr. Moreau. For some reason, I always say Monroe, even though I've read the book. train wreck of a movie, and apparently he was very hard to work with on that movie. You know, I don't want to talk ill of the dead, but there's a good documentary about that and how the director went crazy, basically went nuts, and ran off into the jungle, and he like lived in the jungle for like a few weeks. It's just crazy stuff. And then they replaced him with another director. Oh, what's that guy's name? John Frankenheimer. And Val Kilmer was really hard to work with. He wouldn't really do what the directors wanted him to do. He was very mean to the cast, apparently. And then you also have, of course, Marlon Brando, who was the train wreck to work with in that movie too. There's a midget in that movie, and apparently Brando insisted that this midget be in almost every shot that he's in, and he just brought him to the set when he showed up, and he's like, yeah, he's gonna be in the movie with me. And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, he's gonna be, or I walk. So that's a good riff tracks. If you watch riff tracks, definitely maybe check that out, because it's entertaining, because it's so bad. And he has all these demands, like in one scene he has a giant ice bucket on his head, and that was one of the demands. And then he has like a Pope mobile, and he's wearing all this white makeup, and it's very strange. But anyways, so it's a really strange, almost like fever dream movie. That I'd say he doesn't elevate the movie. He's just kind of there. Val Kilmer taking a paycheck. Ghost in the Darkness. That's a great one too. I should rewatch that. I always liked that movie. Michael Douglas, Val Kilmer, Tom Wilkinson. Hunting down a killer lion who's tasted human blood, so it has a taste for human blood. The Saint. I've always been a fan of this movie. I think when it came out, it didn't get good reviews. Let's see what. And let's see how much money this movie made. But I've always liked this movie. I've never got the hate this movie gets. Like, it gets a lot of hate. Elizabeth Shue's in it. Yeah, she looks so good in that movie. Roddy Sir, I cannot pronounce that guy's name, but he's in it. Budget $90 million. Wow. That seems like a lot. I wonder how much he got. He probably got a huge paycheck. Seems like too much, because its box office is $169.4 million. So it's a flop. I've always been a big fan of that movie. I think it's underrated as a spy thriller. It's not perfect, you know, like the end, it gets a little crazy. Like they're, you know, they're basically creating free energy, and you know, you could laugh at that and everything, but I'm just saying he's really good. Elizabeth Shue's good, and Roddy's good. He even has a son who's like kind of like a druggie. He's pretty good in it. Val Kilmer plays a bunch of different roles. He kind of plays The Doors. He kind of plays Jim Morrison in that movie. He's like this artist, and he knows that Elizabeth Shue will, you know, like really be attracted to this. So one of the guys he dresses up as is as this artist, and he's like sketching, and then she felt like kind of they have a fling together, and he ends up like stealing her notes because she's the scientist, and he's stealing the notes for Roddy. But anyways, it's a good movie. You know, it's I think it's based on a old TV show that I haven't seen. Oh, British television series in the 1960s starring Roger Moore. And then 1970 series starring Eon Ogilvy. I don't know. I haven't seen that. I just always liked that movie. Something about it. But it's 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's always got a lot of hate. Prince of Egypt, I don't really remember that. After The Saint, I don't know. The roles weren't quite as good, I'd say. Red Planet. Yeah. I haven't seen Wonderland. I would actually like to see that. In the police investigation of a brutal crime scene, one man was at the center of it, all legendary porn star John Holmes. Val Kilmer. The Missing, I haven't seen that. Spartan, that's a good one. That's an underrated one, I'd say. That's David Mamet, written and directed by him. That's actually a really interesting movie. The investigation into a kidnapping of the daughter of a high-ranking U.S. government official. So, if you haven't seen that, I would say check that out. And give The Saint another watch. You know, if you haven't watched it in a while. I enjoy it. He plays like a bunch of different characters. You can tell he's having a really good time. And it's just, you know, it's all like in Europe. It's a interesting spy thriller. Alexander. I don't know if I've ever really watched all that. I know he plays Philip the Great, or Alexander the Great's father. But that was a flop. In fact, what was the budget in that? That's Oliver Stone too. So 2004. 155 million budget. Box office 167.3. Wow. Huge bomb. Huge. Yeah, I think that kind of met, like, I don't know. After that, Oliver Stone, his career, I don't think really ever. I mean, he did World Trade Center, then W, and Money Never Sleeps. I didn't really like that. I like the original Wall Street, but yeah, I don't know. But anyways, it's about Val Kilmer. But after that, I'd say his career didn't quite recover. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang Bang, that's a good one. Robert Downey Jr. That's Shane Black. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen that. That's a fun one. After that though, I don't know. Deja Vu with Denzel. I don't remember that. Did a bunch of stuff after that. I just haven't seen almost any of it. Tenacious D to Be the Best? Is this like a music video? Okay. But yeah, I did a bunch of stuff. I have not seen almost any of it after that. So after Deja Vu, I haven't seen almost any of it. But Kiss Kiss Bang, for his later move, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, really good. And yeah, maybe he'll give Deja Vu another watch. But you know, his last movie was Top Gun Maverick. Really good movie. At the time I saw that, I was like, I'm not sure he should have been in it, but it's his last movie. I'm glad he's in it now. You know, the scene's a little cheesy, but it works. I like it. So, but yeah, I just wanted to pay my respects. Interesting actor. You know, he's had cancer for, man, in 2015 Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer. He underwent a tracheal procedure that damaged his vocal cords, leaving him with severe difficulty speaking. He also underwent chemotherapy, 2 tracheotomies, died of pneumonia in 2025. He released his memoirs, I'm Your Huckleberry, a memoir. I haven't watched that, but think my mom did, though. In the documentary Val, both of which detail career and health struggles as an actor. Oh, okay, and then Hal. Val, I mean, sorry, Hal. Val. What is he, Hal 9000? Yeah, Val's the one. Yeah. I think that's directed by his son. Or produced by his son, I think, and narrated by his son. So, but talented guy. He went to Juilliard. Famous art school. Christopher Reeves went there. Robin Williams went to Juilliard. A lot of famous actors have. But yeah, Kilmer was a lifelong Christian Scientist, and upon his throat cancer diagnosis, referred to it as in the press as the struggle of the throat cancer, opting not to explicitly associate himself with such a diagnosis. He underwent recommended chemotherapy despite it being conventionally against his religion. He was an avid musician. Yeah, like in The Doors, that's actually him singing. So, and does a great job. I'm a big fan of The Doors, and I really have no complaints about his performance in that movie. Kilmer had a reputation for being difficult to work with and having feuds with some actors with whom he worked, notably Island of Dr. Monroe, co-star in Red Planet and Heat with Tom Sizemore. Really, him and Tom Sizemore had kind of beef in that movie. I've only really heard of Island of Dr. Monroe. He was hard to work with, but Kilmer's Tombstone co-star Michael Biehn said, "People ask me, what is it like to work with Val Kilmer? I don't know, never met him, never shook his hand. I know Doc Holliday, but I don't know Kilmer." Richard Stanley, who directed Kilmer for 3 days in Island Dr. Monroe before being fired, recalled Val would arrive and an argument would happen. John Frankenheimer, who replaced Stanley, said, "I don't like Val Kilmer. I don't like his work ethic, and I don't want to be associated with him ever again." Batman Forever director Joel Schumacher called Kilmer childish and impossible. Wow. When Kilmer at first co-star Mira Sorvino was asked about his reputation as difficult to work with, she responded, "You know what? He was really easy to work with. I just hate furthering rumors about people being difficult because it can do so much enormous damage to your career. My experience with him was nothing but positive. He was really professional and gentlemanly and a terrific actor." In 2005, he made several trips to Hurricane Katrina disaster in New Orleans. He was a supporter of Native American affairs and an advocate of environmental protection. Kilmer briefly considered running for governor of New Mexico in 2010, but decided against it. So, but yeah, even if in the 90s it sounds like maybe he was kind of hard to work with here or there, still a great actor, personality. At least when I ever see him in a movie, I think he usually adds something. And yeah. So, born in Los Angeles, 1959, December 31st, 1959, Los Angeles. And yeah, died April 1st, 2025. So, yeah, anyways, just RIP, and yeah, that's about it though. I'll see you next time.